All right, guys, welcome back into another episode of To The Show Baseball Podcast. I am your host, Andrew Parker. In today's episode, I'm going into the Milwaukee Brewers system. I got Ryan Birchard on, who just wrapped up a year in High A, Wisconsin, where he's winning a Pitcher of the Week award to end out the year for 7 no-hit innings there. And so he ended up obviously ending on a very good high note, and talk about his end of the season, his 2025, obviously being healthy. He eclipsed 100 innings for the first time in his career this year. So we do talk about that and what's in store for the offseason. But before I do get any further, whether you're watching me on YouTube right now, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you get your podcast, please like and subscribe. YouTube, I am trying to make a huge push there. It's free to subscribe there, actually. So it would help me out a ton, and I do appreciate all and anybody that does. But without further ado, let me shoot you on. All right, I am joined by Ryan Birchard, and who is just coming off the end of the season for himself in Wisconsin. And you had a pretty good end to your 2025 season, and that's exactly where I want to start today. Obviously, you had, a week where you were named the Pitcher of the Week there for Wisconsin, and you ended up obviously ending on a very strong note. But I guess looking back at 2025, what sticks out to you the most?
Yeah, no, 2025, I'd say it was a good year. Minus a couple things. Biggest thing for me was coming back this year after missing most of the 2024 season with an injury. I got hurt after that first game and missed most of the year. So I think big thing was just coming back this season, staying healthy, getting my innings up to where they should be as a starting pitcher, and just performing.
Yeah, you had just mentioned to get the innings up, you eclipsed 100 innings for, it looks like, I'm looking back, one of the first times dating back to at least 2022. Are you tired at all? Are you feeling it right now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the most innings I've ever thrown, ever. I've never even really sniffed 100, honestly. But towards the end, yeah, it's more of a mental tiredness, to be honest, than physical. Arm starts to get a little tired. Things start to get a little tight, But yeah, I'd say the mental tiredness is just like the everyday showing up, doing the same thing, since January. That's kind of what got to me. But, every time I was going out to pitch, I was excited to be there.
Was that something that you had kind of, I don't know if you're like a goals guy or anything like that, but coming into this year, obviously having the injury last year and the 20 plus innings or whatever you had, going into this year where you're like, I want to hit 85 innings. I want to hit this. Was that something you had circled?
I wouldn't say like I had like a number of innings circled, but it's definitely just, I don't want to miss a start. But yeah, I mean, I am a goals guy. Usually I don't like innings. It's more like strikeouts and, stuff like that.
That's fair.
But because I know, like, if I can get a lot of innings, usually, hopefully, I get a lot of strikeouts. But yeah, like I said, it was just trying to get through healthy and make all my starts.
Hey, I'm a big, availability is the best ability type thing. So obviously, whenever you do see a guy hit 100 innings, obviously now you made all your starts. You went, sort of deep in games, and I don't know. I always like the innings pitch, especially for the minor leagues, just because it shows that you're going out there every 5-6 days, whatever it is, and making those starts. But something that did stick out to me about your season, by the way, I was going through like your month by month, and it looked like you almost got better the later it got into the season. So your month of August, you held hitters to a 387 OPS over your 5 outings, and it was the best month you had of the year. Did you kind of feel the same way? Did you just get into a rhythm? I guess why do you think you got better as the year went on?
Yeah, no, I think honestly, even like I gotta get back in like the flow of things. I know that was honestly a little late to get back in the flow. I was doing it for a while up until that point, but like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like as the season goes on, my body just gets more comfortable. I kind of know how to like what I'm gonna do with hitters. The nerves are way down. I'm not really nervous. But yeah, I'd say, as the season goes on, I just get more like comfortable, I guess. And like that, usually tends to have success.
Yeah, and obviously you're heading into your off season now, and last year was a little different with you obviously having the injury last year and then pitching in the fall league in 2024. Do you have anything planned this off season? You're going to stay at home and train. What does it look like for you now that you're into your off season?
Yeah, no, I'm home right now for a couple weeks. I'm gonna go back out to Arizona for a camp the Brewers are doing in October, and then last off season after the fall league, I stayed out there. Um, it just gets cold here. I can't. There's nowhere to throw, and no one to throw with. So me and a buddy are gonna stay out in Arizona. And, I just had my off season out there, and I'd assume I'd be back in January for starters camp. But yeah, nothing crazy. Just kind of hanging out right now. Not throwing, just spending time with the family and the dogs.
Is that a kind of like some I hear both sides, some guys obviously that, are like your last fall, you had, that time in Arizona to pitch in that league. And some guys, kind of love it. Some guys hate it. They're just like, oh, have like your normal off season, I guess you could say. Is that kind of a benefit of this off season where you you had a healthy season, you're going into the off season healthy, you're able to kind of have a normal-ish off season. Is that benefit you in 2026?
I think so. I think time home is beneficial for everyone. I think everybody needs it. I don't care really how much you love baseball or being around the game. I think being home around people you're just, I guess, like comfortable with. Everyone needs it, but yeah, I'd say it probably will help out for next year for sure. But usually a couple weeks go by. I'm already starting to get the itch again, honestly, to play baseball. So usually I get the itch, I'll go back out to Arizona and I'll just start doing baseball again.
That's so interesting to me. I'm always curious when, kind of people get the itch and things like that. And I always have heard it's usually like around like, Christmas time, the holidays, where it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
after Christmas is over, it's time. But you're telling me just season, you already got it.
Yeah. I would say it's not like full blown itch. It's like a little like, almost like I don't know what to do with myself itch. Um, but like you're right. Like after Christmas is like, all right, the season's here. I mean, even though
Yeah.
it's not, but like it's here. I'm gonna start. That's when bullpens start, live at bats start. It's when you really start to get going. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw on a Twitter account or something the other day post like, oh, less than, I don't even know what it was, like 5 months
Yeah.
until spring training report day. It's like, holy
Hmm.
cow,
No.
it's already here,
Uh,
man. But
mhm.
all right, for yourself, obviously, we were kind of talking earlier. You're an upstate New York guy. I consider you very New Yorker through and through. And I think upstate New York is absolutely beautiful. But you had the chance to play in Wisconsin all of this year. What were your thoughts on spending a whole year there and just getting to play there?
I'd say the fans do show up every night, throughout the week, any day. What's cool about being in Wisconsin is like those are like Brewers fans. Like so they're not coming
Oh yeah,
like say part of a different organization that's across. You know what I mean? Like they're big league teams across the country, and you're on the other side. You're probably not getting too many. I don't know, Marlins fans in California, to be honest. Um,
oh yeah.
yeah, so I think that was cool. The fans were great. Yeah, I say the fans. The fans are awesome. Yeah, great stadium.
Yeah, I think you kind of the nail on the head there, where it's like one of those things where, like for the Giants, for example, I'm pretty sure their high A team is in Richmond, Virginia, and
Yeah,
I'm like that. I don't know how that
yeah,
makes like a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't really have like Giants fans in Virginia.
hmm yeah,
So I do understand that, where it's like, hey, their high A team is literally in the state of their MLB team, so it's probably people that root for that team around
hmm
you. So totally fair on that statement there. I guess rolling into the offseason, you said you're going to go down to Arizona to kind of get a good head start. You got the itch again. Heading into now, I feel like it's probably for you, it's probably been forever since you've been drafted, but it's years now since you officially became a professional baseball player. So for yourself, heading into another spring training this year, do you have anything in mind that you're trying to get out of the spring training in 6 now that you've completed a full year in high A? You're probably pushing for next year. Like, what are you trying to get out of spring training?
Anyone looks at the stuff that plays, but hopefully still continue to play for the rest of my career. But I need to cut down on walks big time. It's just, I got way too many walks. I got to come in spring training, just, even if I just cut the walks in half, I'll be fine. And like you said, pushing for AA. I was kind of hoping for the end of the season maybe, but then, I start to factor in the innings and, what the needs are above. So, I kind of, that was kind of out the door, in my opinion. But, definitely coming back spring training, need to work on the walks. Just cut those in half, and I think, I'll be good.
I'm always curious too, like, when I hear guys kind of say, like, I always talk to, some guys around the game, and they're kind of like, oh, I'd love to add to the strikeout numbers. You're very good in that department. Then, you have guys as well that's like, hey, I do want to cut the walks. Like, what does that look like? I guess what kind of things could you do?
In my opinion, I think it's mechanical right now. I think some mechanical stuff's off. I'm just going 3-2 on a lot of people. It's either it's like a strikeout or a walk. I need to just get ahead, and kind of once I'm ahead, I can't throw 3 balls. I gotta put them away or let them hit the ball, get themselves out. But I think, I just gotta get ahead, stay ahead, and put them away. I think that's just what I gotta do. And some people may think I'm not trying, but that's what I'm always trying to do. It just doesn't really work out sometimes.
Yeah, it's sometimes probably fans are kind of ruthless, especially the higher you go into the system, the more eyeballs you have and everything like that. So totally valid. All right, so I'm gonna shoot a little off the field here. It's just a few questions I like to ask just to see what you're kind of like off the field. And I'm gonna be completely honest. When I looked at your Instagram page, you were like strictly baseball. Like you're a baseball guy, which I love. You don't give away much else. So I'm gonna ask this: if every Monday in the minor league season you had an off day, so every Monday was free. Let's say you weren't on a bus ride somewhere, or now that you're back home, you got some downtime. What are you doing in your free time?
So in the season, I like to cook. A lot of guys play golf. I can't hit a golf ball.
Okay.
Yeah. So the guys, honestly, they go golf, and I'd be like, "What do you got?" I'd make food, and they all come over and we'd eat. Hang out, watch baseball. What they always wanted was chicken cutlets. I make good chicken cutlets, apparently. But when I'm home right now, it's a whole lot of nothing because all my friends are out of school now and they got real jobs. So they're working, and I'm just kind of sitting here. I'll go work out and I'll just hang out. I'm a big hangout guy.
Hey, that's got to be a weird feeling, by the way. You kind of said that. It's like, hey, like my friends I grew up with, they're at school or they're working a day
That's what I'm
job.
saying.
So
I'm just like, yeah, this is my off time. I'm like, you guys don't want to do anything? I got work. I'm like, well, I guess that's important.
yeah, I mean, I did see something. I see you repping your New York Giants there on the hat, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the game yesterday probably ripped your heart out a little bit. Well, 2 days ago. Sorry about that.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm not a diehard Giants fan, but that's who I watch. That's what my family watches. A lot of people think like, oh, you're not the Bills. No, the
Yeah,
Bills.
I was gonna ask that.
It's like strictly Western New York, in my opinion. Like, you get to
Okay.
Rochester, it's like okay, and then like Western New York, Central New York, it's like Cowboys and a little bit of Bills and Giants and Jets and yeah. But yeah, it was painful. I mean, Russell Wilson decided to be the best quarterback ever that day, and we still couldn't win. But the 100-something yards and penalties probably didn't. We lost the game for ourselves. That's what happened.
When I saw him throw up that like 60-yard bomb to neighbors, and I like gasped out loud. I was like, holy
I know.
cow.
I
That was
know.
incredible. But obviously it didn't end well for the good guys, because I don't know who likes the Cowboys, but
Nobody.
yeah, I apologize to anybody listening if they are a Cowboys fan. But yeah, I was rooting for the Giants, but it was tough to see. But so you're not a diehard, and that was actually going to be another question for myself. Being where you are in New York, so I've been in New York. It's a big state. A lot of people just think it's New York City, and then you got like a bunch of nothing, which I don't know if there's a lot of country out there, but growing up though, for yourself, like with baseball and watching like, baseball players, like who did you gravitate to the most?
Well, growing up it was Mets, not the Yankees. My dad was, my dad is just always a Mets fan, so that's what we grew up watching. When Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, when they were all there, growing up watching them, I'd always be excited. It's kind of changed once I get in the pro ball, because I almost like look at this as like a competition, like this is where I'm trying to be, so it's honestly weird the way I watch baseball now than like growing up. But yeah, it was always the Mets, and I think they've always had good pitching, so I think that it was fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I always find it fascinating too, because you're just kind of like in that area where I feel like you can choose either
Hmm.
side, and it's like nobody's gonna like bat an eye. It's like, oh, like he chose the Mets, or like, oh, he chose the Yankees. Like I
Yeah.
just feel like you choose one.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I got a couple questions left for you here, and I will let you slide. So I always like to shout out where you kind of came from, for college purposes, or if you came straight out of high school, whatever it is. You are going to be the very first guy I've ever had on here that came from Niagara County Community College. I'm not sure if that's a surprise for you, but I've done over like 200 of these, and I've
Yeah.
never had anybody from there. So.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, like, do you obviously, when you are sharing locker room, and you were a 5th round pick too, so it's not nothing. So you're
Hmm.
sharing locker room with all these guys coming from these SEC schools, these ACC schools, like the Big 10, 12, all the big college programs, and they're sharing the same locker room that you are. Do you keep that chip on your shoulder? Is that something that you always with you, that you kind of like, I had to like, kind of put in some little extra work to get here?
Hmm. Well, I'd say I'm very proud where I came from. It's kind of like the cards I was dealt throughout my career. I couldn't go to a big school like that. But yeah, I'm very proud to how it happened, and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it at all, because I got drafted after 2 years, 4 year school. I have to wait 3. Blah blah blah. Made me really realize that, like, we didn't have a lot of stuff. We're like throwing in the parking lot, stuff like that, like very JUCO. Definitely taught me some grit. And then getting drafted and all that, and coming to pro ball, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't like, oh, there's no way I'm as good as this guy, because he threw in the SEC. And then it plays out itself. You realize just as good, or better than people that are there. And no, it doesn't surprise me that I'm your first guy from Niagara Community College at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately. To be honest, like I've been getting guys from like all over the place. I just had one of your teammates on, Tanner Gillis, on
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
a unique guy
Hmm.
too, and
Another
it's
kind
like I'm
of
getting guys from all over the place now.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, incredible. That's kind of why I started doing this, just because every guy isn't a guy from Vanderbilt or LSU or whatever it is in professional baseball. It's like
Hmm.
guys like yourself and Tanner and like all those guys out there that are just had a completely different route. They're still in the exact same spot that these other guys are. So
Yeah.
I find it fascinating.
Hmm.
So I do want to follow up question on the college thing before I do let you slide. I did see you had committed to Oregon,
Yeah.
which kind of threw me through a loop a little bit, because you're a New York guy and you committed to probably one of the schools that's as far away as possible from home and where you grew up. So
Yeah.
why Oregon? Why were you going to go to Oregon?
So I was a UConn commit for a while. Loved UConn. I was gonna be in the Northeast. Parents would drive. You know what I mean? It's kind of fit everything.
Oh yeah, that made
When I'm
sense.
Yeah, when I'm my official, we played UConn at my junior college, but we went to their place. We played them, and I just loved it as soon as I got there. Absolutely loved it. And I was hurt during that time, so I didn't get to throw. Fast forward a couple months, I throw open. Honestly, the coach kind of calls and like, the rest is history. They offer me. But then, UConn is also like a pretty good school outside of sports. And me being a sports guy
Oh
and
yeah.
not a huge school guy, things just didn't line up. So eventually had to decommit from there. And I wasn't happy. It was a mix up with the junior college, and credits and stuff. So I'm not gonna put it all on me. It was not really my fault, to be honest. But at that point, I knew I was kind of gonna get drafted. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to school. So I called my agent, blah blah blah, and a couple things happened. Oregon's in the mix, and they're out. They just won like their regional, and their coach is like FaceTiming me in the airport. I'm like, I was kind of dragging my feet. And I was just trying to commit to like honestly the biggest school and the school that had the most stuff. Cause I like gear. I like stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like Oregon.
That's the place for gear.
You know what I mean? I was like, well, yeah. And then I committed there, and I ended up getting drafted. And I wasn't really planning on going to school, but I was excited to go to Oregon. I'm not gonna lie, I was excited.
Okay.
But yeah, it happened very quick. It was very, right before the draft. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I was very curious because I'm like, it's so far away from home. I wanted to know the backstory, but it sounded like it was a little bit of a leverage situation where you're like, I don't have to sign, so
yeah, you get it.
It's all good.
Yeah.
All right, one question here, and I will let you go. So earlier in this episode, you had told me that you were a little bit of a goals guy. So I want to know, and going into 2026, what is the number one goal next year? Like, what will you have at the top of your goal list for the 2026 season?
Right now, it's honestly just to start in Double-A. Looking at the organization, we got a lot of people. A lot of pitchers.
Oh yeah.
So, and some of those people, like their time is Double-A too. And technically, I feel like I'm on the younger side still a little bit when I compare to those pitchers. So I think I deserve it. Yeah, like I said, I think that's the goal number one right now because nobody really makes it clear with the Brewers like where anybody's going. You see people start there, they end up in back in high A, but it's like all over the place sometimes. But yeah, I'd say definitely I gotta show up to spring training. Show them I command the zone a little better, and I think I'll hit that goal, start the season right away, and then throughout the year. Again, it's just make all my starts and try not to walk as many people and still try to strike everyone out. It's pretty simple mindset, but yeah.
No, I like it. And also, I learned a long time ago to never try to play for minor league baseball because it will absolutely just mess with your head. Because I have also had those thoughts of like, why is this guy not here? And why is this guy there? And it's just like you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, people do. I see it every day. So you just got to kind of just play where you are, and the rest will work out.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. All right, well, Ryan, appreciate all the time. Obviously, wishing you best of luck going into your healthy off season, and obviously spending some time in Arizona and going into next year. But thank you so much for doing this and hopping on.
Thank you for having me.